I believe a big challenge in the United States right now is that we're drifting away from having healthy communities, really strong communities where we have each other's back and we're building on the value we create, always a place to go. We feel stronger, everything that can go with a healthy community. And I think a big part of that is making space for families to have the right conversations. We're really not doing that anymore. And to tackle this challenge, I agreed to become CEO of a company called Dinner Table about 9 months ago. And there was a business model that didn't work. And the board of directors asked me, hey, what would you do? And I said, well, I've been thinking about this community model for quite some time. So why don't we create a community of families raising kids to create value in the world and be a place to go for practical family wisdom and to build on it? And it's been interesting over the last 9 months. We literally have over 32,000 parents, guardians in our dinner table family community. Just incredible how fast it's growing. My guess is in another year, we're going to have well over 100,000 members in the community. And it's really designed for families to intentionally think about creating value. It's an evergreen journey. I'm fully committed to the value creation journey, not the bullet points or the elements of what we're actually teaching. And even though I've written the foundational sort of facilitation curriculum for the first year, again, not committed to that. I'm committed to the conversations we're having as families and how we're really objectively and measurably creating more value as a family as we go forward. So some of the examples, this first year journey that we're on, the first session, we think about what are the traits we would like our kids to have when they launch into adulthood. And these character traits can be honesty, integrity, perseverance, kindness. It can be whatever's important to the family. But we think about that and then we back up and say, okay, what can we do today if your kids are, 3 years old, 6 years old, doesn't really matter, to get them ready to have these character traits when they launch into adulthood. The next month, we talk about healthy struggles and changing our relationship with struggle. There's normal healthy struggles. Let's not take them away from the kids. I've seen a lot of helicopter parenting, if you will, where they remove all struggle from the kids. And by the time they're an adult, they're just not ready for adulthood. I'm even seeing a lot of examples of helicopter teaching where the kids in the classroom and the teachers are taking all the struggle away from the kids. So they're really not going through these normal, healthy struggles required to be a thriving, value creating adult. There's also unhealthy struggles. We want to change their perspectives around that to where we improve their life conditions as quickly as possible. Could be an infection, could be, any kind of it could be a drug addiction, any kind of unhealthy struggle. Let's not make it our identity. Let's actually learn from that, change it, and then use that to create even more value in the future. And then there's intentionally designed struggle to build capability and character traits. There's a lot of that we can be doing as parents, with our kids, as well as all of us as adults. And then, what's the return on investment for families doing this, intentionally thinking about that? Most families really don't think about that. Helping kids discover their value creation superpowers, house rules, what's everybody's job for the family, and being super intentional about that. At what age do your kids pick up expenses? How does that change as they get older? How do they earn money? How do they think about all that stuff? Financial competency. How do we apply all of these money skills to being able to, really create value in the world, get the most value for what we spend, the most value for trading our best efforts when we're doing work for others. Family forecast, which includes budgeting. I actually think it's a good idea for every family member, even as young as 6 years old, to have a line item on the budget that they're responsible for, so they learn about this, and it's all very transparent. And then legacy over inheritance. How are we creating holistic value as a family and growing that generation to generation, not just dividing and hoping for the best on the material side, but all of the value creation as a family, what it feels like to be in the family history, the stories, growing the spiritual value creation, the connectedness with all the family members, a higher power, whatever's important to each family. And then, sort of deeper dives on what is material value creation and how we can continually create more as a family so we can better survive emergencies, surprises that come up, pay for college, have enough in retirement where we've got a nice lifestyle, et cetera. Emotional energy value creation deep dive, spiritual value creation deep dive. And then how are we doing annual check-ins, and are we having sort of intentional dinner table conversations at least once a week to talk about how we're creating value as a family? There's so much that we can do there. And this journey's only been, 9 months since we started building. It's pretty incredible how fast the community is growing. So that tells me, wow, there's really something here. There's a huge need for it. And of our 32,000 plus members, we're in 67 different countries. So incredible. So this seems to be a global sort of universal, issue and challenge, and something that we all are looking for with our families. And I started two communities now. I started one 6 months ago for the parents of these kids in a particular micro school. And it's been amazing the changes that I've seen. The relationship with struggle, where they used to think about struggle as bad, now they see it as actually a really good thing a lot of the time with the kids. And even for the parents, it's changing their perspective around that. And something that the leaders at this particular school told me, they've been in business, providing these micro schools for the students for 8 years. And for the first time ever, they're seeing the parents dropping each other's kids off and hanging out with each other. And that's all happening because of this monthly conversation that we're having and all the interactions between the meetings around these topics that I just mentioned. One of the things I love is that the kids are telling me, gosh, like it's an epiphany, I can create value in the world. And a big part of what we're doing is changing the perspective that these kids have. You can start anywhere and go everywhere. There's really no end to what you can accomplish, but you have to start. You have to give it your best. There isn't a magic pill or silver bullet that's going to get you there. You have to earn this stuff all the way. Enjoy the journey. Make that happen. The second community I started was this past weekend, another micro school, a micro school high school. And the parents and a lot of the kids came in, and I'd say my biggest takeaway at the end when I was asking for feedback from everyone, hey, what did you get the most out of this? And one of the parents said, and there was a lot of agreement with this, they never make the time to have these value creation conversations. And taking a couple of hours once a month to intentionally do that, and then have that reframe how we do it as a family. So much value there, just incredible. And all of this, again, is about creating value holistically as a family on the material side, the emotional energy side, the spiritual or connectedness side. And just imagine you've got a community of families and you say, look, I'd really like to improve our financial condition. Here's what I'm doing today. This is how we're going after it. And I'd like to improve it by at least 5 or 10% over the next year. And if you have a number of other families giving you ideas around that, odds are you're going to be able to do that. And you can repeat that every single year going forward to strengthen the financial condition of your family. And I'm particularly interested in working with low and middle income families because I think that's where the largest pent up, untapped value creation potential is. We just have to change perspective over there. I came from a very low income family, and I was able to build, really multi-generational wealth in just my time here. And I think all of these kids can do the same or better. No question in my mind. So super excited about that. The kids in these lower income families especially have the drive. When I work with kids in more affluent families, they're kind of out of balance. They never really had to work for the money most of the time, not in all cases, but it's going to take them a lot longer to get there. They take more for granted, but these low income families, they just don't. So I love working with them more than any other group. So again, holistic value as a family. How do we create more in this generation, pass that on, build on it generation to generation? And working with other families on creating value in any of the three buckets is going to get you there a lot faster than just working in isolation with only your family. And then we start thinking intentionally about the circles that we interact with. So with our kids, who are their circle of friends? What are the sort of values or character traits of those friends? And can we be more intentional about that? So they're thinking about value creation. As parents, we can help them with it. What about us, as parents? what are we doing essentially in terms of selecting the friends and families that we interact with on a regular basis. So we can be more intentional about that. We can help each other create more and more value over time. And so for me, this is all about strengthening community. And the reason I do it, and by the way, as CEO of Dinner Table, I'm not taking $1. It's been a lot of work over the last 9 months, and I'm loving it, loving the time of communities, not taking any money to do it because my return is the emotional and spiritual value creation piece and strengthening these communities. And the more we get it right for our kids and more families out there, it's a much better world for me, my family, my friends, my communities to interact with. So that's why I do it. And what I would challenge you with here is, as I close, what can you do to strengthen your communities?